walking tightropes and possibly putting myself through areas of psychic and emotional destruction are long over. I'm pulling my life together in a fairly substantial and successful manner. By virtue of the fact that I'm getting older, has given me quite a scope on what I can draw from within my own catalogue of albums. It's almost like the albums that I've done have become the palette that I can draw from. Each album's kind of a different colour. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. Being 50, I want to see what you can do as a rock artist at 50. And I wanted to kind of create a hybrid with jungle and rock. I guess I was always a culture vulture. What you never hear. It was really an exercise in finding remorse and self-incrimination and regrets and all those things. And I wanted to explore that as a theme for the album. Everything's falling into place. I get it.
Retour en direct de l'Environnement Musique Plus avec David Bowie. Et là, c'est assez spécial, je dois vous dire, parce que pendant qu'on était à la pause, on se préparait pour l'entrevue et tout, mais on a trouvé une photo du fameux Mehir, dont on parlait tantôt. I think I'm going to call him now, instead of a Turkish hacker, I'm going to call him the Turkish love god.
I like sex. I like sex. I want to meet girl. I have home and car. I invitate you. Wonderful. God bless you. God bless you, man.
God bless Mehir. Is his site still up?
It's been. I think he had his mobile phone number on it, which in fact turned out to be the mobile phone number of a friend because he actually didn't have a phone.
It was to
everybody, and so the friend said, "Please do not for calling my phone. I like sex too, but I am married."
God.
The whole thing exploded.
That's quite funny. This is the end. This is the final chapter to Mehir's story.
I think, well, the interesting thing is, of course, that in the 60s you had gurus and sort of, you know, they were the icons of the time, the philosophic and religious leaders, you know, like the Maharishi and all that, you know. But in the 90s you get a star of the internet. I think that's just so cool. Some poor guy in...
It just shows
Turkey.
But it shows the potential of it. This weird...
that's exactly. It's so there's a kind of a chaotic democracy about the internet that is still adorable. You know, nobody will ever monopolize it.
Mm-hmm.
It will always. There will always be cowboys and pioneers and renegades using it, which is the great thing about it.
You think, because that's what a lot of people said about any form of rebellion, about rock and roll, about...
Yeah, but you got broadband, as long as there's width up there, and there's no ways of controlling people putting up sites and putting up information. You know, that's the great thing about it.
Yeah, that is true, actually. There's no way it can never keep branching out.
Oh, yeah, it'll just grow exponentially. I don't think we've even seen the tip of what's contained in the future of the internet.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think Elsie foresaw that in one of your songs, from The Man Who Sold the World.
It's an interesting song called Save Your Machine.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
about
right.
I think about a machine that creates all problems, ends
that's the downside of it.
Yeah,
is that what my thinking at the time was that was 69, I think 70, wasn't it?
69.
69.
Yeah.
And I had the idea that there was a machine that was developed, a computer-like machine, which helped leaders to solve the world's problems and presented logical conclusions to problems. But of course, when it had finalized all the problems, it couldn't stop, so it started
it would create
it went into reverse and just sort of successfully destroyed the world as well. But that's just, you know, that was the teenage
so how does that compare, you know, to the internet
there's got to be
today?
a lot of angst when you're like young, you know. Nothing's fair.
Something has to be destroyed then, you know.
It's not fair. Whatever it is, I'm against it.
So is there a parallel or something to be made with the internet today, or was that just some sort of a fantasy?
Yeah, down and upsides, you know, and it's just a moral decision on the part of the user. It's as simple as that, you know.
Somebody that has a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
You have a question for David Bowie?
What a great outfit. Hello.
Thank you. I like your outfit too.
I like your too.
What's your question?
We'd love to see you in a schoolgirl uniform.
Given the fact that there was a sort of a glam revival this year, and also this decade is really fascinated with extraterrestrials, and also there's a potential apocalypse coming up.
Potential.
Potential.
It would be the perfect time to see the second coming of Ziggy. So,
Funny you should say that.
Question or suggestion? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for one, I'm suspicious about the so-called glam revival because I don't think it was street-driven. I think it was driven much more by media. And I think that true movements and revivals come from the streets first. And I didn't feel it came from the streets. Maybe I'm wrong, but it felt kind of artificial, which I should complain. I love artifice, but the point is, I don't believe it was. I don't think it was a credible glam revival. And the apocalypse type thing. Well, you know, I think it's a state of mind again. I'm such a positivist. I have no. In my own mind, I cannot even entertain the idea of an apocalypse, or I've already moved through 2000 in my own mind. I'm already. I won't allow that ridiculous obstacle to create some psychological war, because I think it's going to be terrible. It can produce these unbelievably pathological effects when people wake up on the first day of the next century and realise nothing has changed at all. And I think that can produce some very bad side effects. So I you know, it's not fair. I'm against it again. You know, I think it's important to take a rational, balanced view that it's merely another day in our lives. You know, and we've got wonderful lives potentially. What we have to do is nurture everybody and everything around us to create a future for which we can have respect and dignity and pride for. That's what we're here for. And what was your third point?
I think it was the
Second coming of Ziggy.
Oh, second. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. There'll be a cool musical. I am working on, for his 30th birthday, which I don't believe, a stage and an internet and also a film version of different aspects of his life. It's
That's
like
interesting.
a real postmodern thing.
Nice.
Wow.
We have another question now from the streets, if you keep an eye on the monitors.
Hi, David. I'm Jack. I'm from Montreal. I'm just wondering, after all these years of evolution, if David Bowie were to meet Ziggy Stardust, do you think he'd be looking for his approval?
Another Ziggy question now.
I think David Bowie, this David Bowie, is probably too... I don't think I trust Ziggy's judgment.
Really?
So I wouldn't be looking for his approval, and I think that Ziggy was too arrogant to be looking for mine.
Really?
So then I don't think either will be looking for each other's. But funnily enough, funny you should say that, because just recently I conducted a kind of an experiment in writing for a couple of European magazines, and I had myself at 53. Interviewing myself at 23.
Yeah,
Yes.
I read that.
And
Yes,
it was a really interesting way, because I found that I really had to go back into the mind of how I was at that age and how I would, the kind of naiveties that I had and the generalizations, and everything is so crystal clear when you're 23, you know. And then I found that me at 53 was thinking, oh God, please grow up, you know. And the other one said, well, you don't understand, you know, you guys your age, you've let all the excitement go, you don't understand. And there's
We did read it. It was very
really,
interesting.
It was a fun exercise, and I might try and do some more of that.
Some more of that.
Was it more wisdom or nostalgia you got out of it?
I don't know. I think I just had. I would say things to him like, "Have you met Mick Jagger yet?"
Yeah.
And he says, "No, I've got nothing in common with him. Why would I want to meet him?" And so, "Oh, just wait, son." It produced a really interesting set of circumstances.
A question from the internet now, once again. With your penchant for visuals from your work from the 70s on, this person, his name is Richard, would like to know if you foresaw the coming of the MTV era.
No, I don't think so. I think I never regarded anything that I've done as being futurism. I'm not a futurist. I stay very, as much as possible, planted in today. But the fact is, I do like to really... ever since I was young, I was always excited by innovations and technologies or art forms or the things that weren't pulled into the trap of the tyranny of the mainstream, things that were on the outside of the way that we live, you know. And those are the things that always excited me, and I would try and get to know those and understand how they worked. But the effect seems to be, because they're not in the mainstream, you seem to be ahead of maybe other groups of people who are still kind of getting used to what's in the mainstream. So when you kind of incorporate those new ideas into what one does oneself, it feels like futurism, but it's not. It's just actually talking about a today that doesn't exist right bang in the center of the public, you know. Is that...
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah. I follow you. Alors, it's a translation,
I know
you know.
You follow me. No,
of course I follow you. Alors, restez avec nous. Après la pause, prestation David Bowie, artiste du mois. Bougez pas.